He came to humiliate her on live TV, but she came with documents that made him storm off the set. Jasmine Crockett, just 44, faced down Hollywood icon Robert De Niro and exposed a truth he never thought would go public. What she revealed next left the studio silent and a nation rethinking everything. Before we continue this incredible story, let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel because tomorrow we have another inspiring story you won't want to miss. Jasmine Crockett, 44 years old, wasn't supposed to make it this far. That's what they said when she became a rising star in Texas politics. That's what they said when she took on powerful opponents as a U.S. representative. And that's what they said when she accepted a seat at a round table with one of the most outspoken actors in America, Robert De Niro. But Jasmine never listened to what they said. She focused on what she could prove. Long before she stepped into that studio, Jasmine had faced fire. Mainstream journalists had tried to corner her. Politicians had tried to discredit her. Activists had tried to smear her. But what none of them understood was that she didn't enter politics for applause. She entered it because she believed the truth deserved a defender. And if no one else would do it, she would. So when the producers of American Spotlight invited her to debate De Niro live on air, most people assumed she'd be a convenient target. A young congresswoman challenged on camera by a beloved celebrity and a sympathetic host. But Jasmine didn't walk in blind. She walked in ready. Armed with a modest leather portfolio and months of preparation, she took her seat at the far end of the studio desk, alone, calm, underestimated. She wasn't there to argue. She wasn't there to play pundit games. She was there for something bigger. She was there to challenge the contradiction between words and actions, between what famous people preach and how they live. In a political culture ruled by soundbites and personalities, Jasmine Crockett came to make one thing clear: performance is not integrity. What happened next wasn't scripted. It wasn't expected, but it was unforgettable. Because when she opened that folder, everything changed, and Robert De Niro never saw it coming. The lights dimmed in the studio as the theme music faded. Cameras rolled. Maria Donovan, seated in the center, smiled into the lens with the smooth confidence of someone used to controlling the narrative. To her right, the legendary Robert De Niro adjusted his microphone. To her left, Jasmine Crockett sat poised, hands folded in her lap, expression calm but focused. "On night," Donovan began, "we bring together two very different voices in America's ongoing political conversation. Robert De Niro, award-winning actor and outspoken critic of certain political figures, and Jasmine Crockett, U.S. representative from Texas." Her tone shifted slightly as she turned toward De Niro. "Robert, you've spoken passionately about your concerns for this country. What do you believe is at stake in the next election?" The stage was his. De Niro leaned in, voice rising with the force that made his film roles legendary. "We're at a crossroads," he said. "Our democracy is under attack. Politicians like her, they are dismantling the institutions that protect our freedom. They attack the press, the courts, the truth itself. It frightens me, and it should frighten every American watching tonight." The camera briefly cut to Jasmine's face. No flicker of irritation, just a steady gaze and a quiet presence. De Niro continued, gesturing vaguely toward Jasmine. "These people, these apologists, they're either naive or corrupt, maybe both. They're a danger to the country." The audience, clearly stacked in his favor, applauded. Donovan nodded as if this were neutral commentary. Then she turned to Jasmine. "Those are strong words," she said, echoing De Niro's rhetoric. "Do you understand why people see your stance as a threat to democracy?" The question was an accusation wrapped in a soundbite. Jasmine didn't blink. She waited a moment, letting the silence build. Then, in a tone even and measured, she replied, "I think it's interesting how quickly we've moved from policy debates to questioning motives. Mr. De Niro is entitled to his views, but millions support leaders like me, not because they're deluded, but because they believe in our record. Economic growth, community safety, and accountability." She listed them calmly: job creation in Texas, reduced crime rates in her district, and efforts to ensure fair governance. "Those aren't theories, those are results." De Niro scoffed. Results like chaos and division. Jasmine nodded slightly. Disagreement happens, but it's disingenuous to reduce years of work to a single narrative. I'm here to discuss issues. Economy, safety, policy affecting everyday Americans. I'd be happy to dive into any of those. The audience murmured, unsure how to respond. De Niro leaned back, irritated. Donovan jumped in. Many believe those achievements mask dangerous rhetoric. Jasmine paused. I understand emotions run high, but disagreement isn't tyranny. It's democracy. The crowd quieted. Something had shifted. She hadn't shouted, but she held her ground and waited. What none of them knew was that Jasmine had brought more than opinions. She had the receipts, and she was about to use them. Robert De Niro heated up. The calmer Jasmine answered, the more animated he became. His hands moved with emphasis. His voice rose. He called her deluded, then cynical, then labeled her dangerous, drawing murmurs. Jasmine didn't flinch. Then, with quiet precision, she struck. Mr. De Niro, she began, tone respectful but firm, you've spoken about values, democracy, equality, respect for working people. Would you say those are important to you personally? De Niro sat straighter. Of course. That's why I speak out. Jasmine nodded. And would you agree public figures should live by those standards? Absolutely, De Niro replied. She reached into her portfolio, pulling out a document. The tension shifted. I'm glad, she said, because I have information raising questions about your private actions. De Niro's expression froze. This is a sworn affidavit from Maria Gonzalez, she continued. She worked in your home from 2017 to 2022. While you advocated for a $15 minimum wage, she says you paid her $9 an hour, no benefits, no overtime, and required a non-disclosure agreement. Gasps echoed. De Niro's eyes darted to Donovan. She set down another document. This is from IRS filings of Tribeca Enterprises, your production company. While calling for higher taxes, it routed profits through Cayman Islands entities to reduce your tax burden. The crowd went silent. De Niro tried. That's a political hit job. Jasmine didn't raise her voice. Are you denying it's accurate? Donovan interjected. Let's focus on the bigger picture. Jasmine shook her head. He made this about values. Americans deserve to know if lecturers live by their standards. De Niro's face strained. She turned another page. Testimonials from production assistants on your recent film set. They report inappropriate remarks and dismissive treatment while you supported Me Too. Donovan tried to interrupt, but the focus was gone. Jasmine's voice stayed steady. I'm presenting facts, not accusations. De Niro leaned forward. You don't know what you're talking about. Lies. Then deny it, she said. He couldn't. She lifted one last sheet. Signed affidavits from 4 young women on your last 2 films, describing inappropriate remarks and a culture of silence. De Niro slammed the table, microphones shaking. Outrageous! A disgrace! You ambushed me! Donovan stammered. We need a commercial. No! De Niro barked, ripping off his mic and storming off, chair toppling. Jasmine stayed seated, calm. She turned to the camera. I didn't come to insult Mr. De Niro. I came to ask, should public figures be held to their own standards? Silence filled the studio. De Niro's exit was caught on camera, the door slamming. Jasmine remained unflinching. Donovan froze. Producers scrambled. Jasmine added, this isn't about left or right. It's about truth versus performance. If you lecture on morality, live it. Millions watched live, and the clip went viral. 20 million views in a day. Social media buzzed with hashtag. Evidence was overwhelming. The next morning, Jasmine stood at a DC hotel podium, facing reporters. This wasn't about tearing down De Niro, she said. It was about integrity. Do we care about it off camera? She stayed composed, her message clear. Even Democrats like Congressman Jamie Raskin acknowledged standards must apply across the board. Her team posted, truth isn't partisan. Donations spiked, and her following grew, 800%. Hollywood felt the shock. De Niro's projects were shelved, His tour canceled. Jasmine declined media tours, focusing on her work. Her calm challenge echoed, "Practice what you preach." A poll showed trust in celebrity endorsements dropped 20%. Voters questioned public figures' lives. Jasmine left quietly, proving truth, not theatrics, moves people. If you believe truth matters, subscribe to Impact Stories. Like, comment, share with someone who values integrity. See you next time with another story of courage.